we're just walking back through Central Park. Josh wants to go buy a baseball top, so we've just been to the Met. I just wanted to see it because of Gossip Girl, but I definitely don't have a Blair approved outfit on. This morning we went over, as you would have seen, to Roosevelt Island, or whatever it's called. Personally, would you recommend it?
No.
No, I wouldn't either. It was okay, but I definitely wouldn't go on a Tuesday because everything was shut basically. The rooftop bar I wanted to go to look at the viewpoint, that isn't open on a Tuesday or a Monday, I don't think. And then like the end point of the island, that was shut as well on a Tuesday, so don't go on a Tuesday. But it was okay. But even the actual like skyline you can see of Manhattan wasn't that nice, was it?
Not really. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it just wasn't that nice. So I wouldn't really recommend it. I mean, it's one thing that we've done, but I wouldn't say like I'd rush back to it. Go on, taste it.
I can't yet.
So guys, it's the next day obviously. So we've just made it to the High Line, which is like a railway line with all these gorgeous buildings. So this actually used to be like an active railway, but obviously you can't railway anymore. So it like goes to like all these buildings, as like obviously you can see. But just look at that view, it's just so pretty. I feel like it's like one of my new favourite places. So this is near the edge. You can see there, that's the vessel that I saw the other day when we went to the edge. I just feel like up here it just looks so New York. If that makes sense. I just feel like you get a really good New York vibe from. So we've just got to the little island after doing the skyline walk. It's just here. Again, like the skyline, this is free to enter as well.
Do you want to jump into the water, Campbell? Okay, go 1, 2, 3. I'm just joking.
We're on our final walk of the city, on our way to get our final Joe's pizza, and then we're going to go next to Grand Central before we get back to the hotel to get picked up by the taxi. After 30 minutes, we're still trying to find the speaking call. To speak? What? I can hear you. Yeah, go on. Can you hear me? What? I can hear you. Can you hear me? What?
Yeah, I can.
That's so weird. Oh, they speak to each other. Hello, my lovelies. So I'm currently, as you will see, I'm home now. I've literally just got back. I've been home about like half an hour or so. I'm obviously still in what I wore to the airport. I thought I'd just come on and round off all the holiday vlogs. So I didn't end the video. I don't even know what the last clip was that I filmed. I think it was in Grand Central. I apologise for how I look. I'm so tired. I've had about 45 minutes of sleep in the last like 21 hours, and I'm in work in like 3 hours. I just wanted to pop on and just give you like a real-time overview of the trip. So we did really like it. It was, you know, I'm so grateful that I've had, you know, I've saved up and been able to take something off my bucket list, because I wanted to go to New York for like the longest time. Like for so many years it's been on the top of my list. You know, well over 15 years I've wanted to go. And it was me that asked like Josh to go, like, can we go this year? And it was more so for like an anniversary trip for us. And like I was just telling my mum, like, I just think the sparkle wasn't there, like what I was hoping for. Like obviously, you know, because I'd been wanting to go for so long, like I had all these expectations. I'd saw all these photos and videos and TikToks and stuff where, you know, it just looked incredible, and honestly it just didn't live up to the hype and all, like, overview. Like I don't know, like overall, like Josh gave the holiday like 7.5, I gave it an 8.5, and I think like some of the negatives, just because I want you to like understand like an overall, and I will talk about the positives as well. I think the negatives, it stunk. Like I didn't comprehend how bad it, like a large part of it would smell. Like it smelled of wee, and I don't know if I can say this on the internet, on YouTube, like WEED, like the leaf. Like it stunk of that so much. Like you just see people smoking it on the streets. I didn't even realise if it was legal or not. I mean, I don't know if it is, but it stunk like everywhere. And then I did know about the rubbish, like, you know, like the bags of rubbish on the streets, but I didn't kind of comprehend how much. Like it's just piled up every single street you go down. Like obviously in England we have like commercial bins, that's where we put all our rubbish, we don't pile it on the streets, but it was piled like 10 bags constantly on, like all down the street of every street you went on. So that was a lot as well. And then what else, something that's quite sad is the amount of homeless people as well in New York. Like I spoke to my parents, they went about 7 years ago, and they said like it wasn't as steep, and I've said like on every single well, not every single street, but like on loads of streets you just see like homeless people like lay there and like, I don't know, asleep, or I don't know, like they're not begging, sometimes they have like a sign, but like it's just sad. like seeing how, like the level, like I mean I've gone to London so many times and like it's just not the extent you see in New York. Like there was hundreds and it's devastating. Like there was like a billboard somewhere and it was like most homeless people, you know, have at least one job, but that's not enough. And it's just so sad that that is the reality. Like you can have a job but you're still homeless, and these people, they look so close to death in reality. Like some of them were so skinny and it was just heartbreaking. I think that really touched me. It just made me feel so sad. Like I hated it. Like I don't know, and I have to admit New York was so expensive, like so expensive, and I can understand why these people, you know, or people struggle to live there, because it is ridiculously expensive. Like for example, like McDonald's, like that was like the first meal we had, and that was purely because we landed, like our body clock was like 2 a.m. in the morning, but we went next Times Square and we just got a McDonald's because we were starving but hadn't eaten for hours, and it's like double the price. Like what would cost about £7 here cost about £13 there. Like it was so expensive. Like a Subway, we got two, like the following morning we got 2 sandwiches and 2 drinks because it was the only thing that was open in that vicinity that we couldn't find anywhere, and that cost us I think £27. Like converted it would have been like 27 quid. I was just like, that's ridiculous. Like it was just so expensive. So yeah, I think that's just one thing. Like obviously the homelessness is just, I personally think it's out of control in New York. Like, and you can just see the expense, how much everything costs, to understand why the city is in that state. So I mean that was just a shock for me. And yeah, it is very expensive. I don't know if I mentioned this in the video, maybe I did when we got back, I can't remember, or maybe I will when I start editing it. But like we went to like what's it called, Ellen's Stardust Diner, and that was somewhere I'd wanted to go for ages. Like my parents had been, they told me about it, and sorry if the light keeps changing. And they come round with a bucket, so like you're mid-eating your meal and they come round with fill it with a bucket, where you like have to give them, well you don't have to, they ask for donations towards like their singing classes and acting classes and stuff, because they all want to be on Broadway. But then they also add 20% service charge or tip like automatically onto the bill. So like, and it was already expensive. Like it cost me $5 for a pineapple juice like this big. So like that meal with all the tips and stuff we had to add was like $80 for some breakfast, and all we had were pancakes and 2 little drinks. Like, so because of that, like we didn't really eat out meals, you know, we definitely didn't go to any bougie like places. On our final like proper night we went to the Hard Rock Cafe, and all we had were 2 cocktails and mains, and we shared a dessert, and that cost us like $105. And then with the bill came like a piece of paper about tipping, and then on the bottom of the bill it said like how much 18% of your bill would be to tip and how much 20% was, and they were your recommended tips, and like they were like $20. So if we ate out every night, it would have just cost so much money. So I think that's just something to bear in mind. Like it is very expensive. Like all the observation decks we did, they were about, I think they cost us about £100 each go. And I think one thing I forgot until I got there was like all the price tags you see, that doesn't include VAT. So you think like, okay, this much, but then you get to the till and the VAT is added, whereas obviously like in England, what's on the price tag is like the price, like the VAT has been added onto it already. So like I'd often get to the till and I'd be like, oh, is this like, that's not the right price. So that's another thing to bear in mind. And I don't think it was cheaper. Like I think Josh was disappointed in this because he thought, and I think we have touched on this, like he thought it was meant to be quite a lot cheaper in New York for like clothes and things like that, and it really wasn't. It was like the same price, if not more. I don't know if maybe it's just because it was New York, maybe in different parts of America it'd be cheaper, but yeah, I definitely didn't see anything cheaper, like at all. What else? I suppose that's some of the negatives, but there were positives. I mean, like just being able to go there is like, you know, it's still a dream come true to me. And I still like, especially like when we were on like the observation decks and just looking out into the city and thinking like, I'm here, like this is what I've dreamt of for years, and I'm here, and I'm like, it is lovely. And I would still recommend going. It's still somewhere like I'm so glad I went, and I do think I'd go in like 10 years or so. I just wouldn't rush back, but it was still pretty, and I really recommend the observation deck. So we did the one Summit Vanderbilt one and the Edge, but there was obviously so many others. I loved doing the Statue of Liberty, that was really good. Brooklyn Bridge was one of my favourite things, so we did it at sunrise on the first day, and then on the other night we did it at night time. Again, that was gorgeous, so I definitely recommend doing it day and night. I think that was just like an awe moment, like you just walk and you just think, like, I feel like that's like the sparkle moment. Like that was one of my favourite moments, walking over Brooklyn Bridge both times. That was like the favourite thing I did. What else would I recommend that we did? Central Park, obviously. We didn't do the zoo, which I kind of wish we did, but we just was running out of time. And again, it was quite expensive. It's like $23, I think. And it's only a tiny zoo, but again, if we're going again next time, like I definitely would do the zoo. We were originally going to do a helicopter ride, but the prices were ridiculous. Like, so if you did like just standard like daytime to like 11 AM or whatever, it was about $238 per person for like 16 to 20 minutes. And then if you wanted to do it at like sunset or like nighttime, it was like over $500 per person. So it would be like $1,000. Or if we did in like daytime, like near enough like 400, no, yeah, about $400. Like it was just too expensive for such a short time, so we just didn't do it. You know, maybe in the future if we do go back one day, we'd do it, but it all was just very expensive. But I would definitely recommend doing the observation decks. They're definitely expensive, so I wouldn't say do them all. Like we only did 2 and I think there's about 5. And definitely like we did one in the daytime, one at night time. Again, if you do it at sunset, then they are more expensive. But yeah, I definitely recommend that because you get such a nice view of the city as well. And don't do observation decks next to each other. Try to do like ones that are a bit spaced out so you get like different views of the city. But yeah, I do recommend going to New York. I think just to go in with a bit more mindset that I didn't really have. One positive I'd say is that I personally didn't feel like unsafe in terms of mugging or anything. You know, like I've been like Paris and Barcelona and things, and you know, I saw people getting mugged whilst I was there, whereas in New York I didn't really see any of that. I think in Times Square you've definitely got to have your wits about you. I think that was one thing as well I was disappointed about was Times Square. It's not even a square, it's a street. And like the famous red steps was shut off, so we couldn't even go on them. But yeah, there are quite a few like things in New York to just be wary of. I think that's one thing as well why I didn't get my camera out too much. Like a lot of what I've done is kind of more montage videos, because every time I was like trying to get the camera out to start filming myself and so I could talk to you and all, there was just, I just didn't feel safe. I felt like someone was just going to snatch the camera out of my hand, or there was a lot of, I don't know what the best way to describe it, just like people tend to like start screaming at you. And we had a few people that, like, one man lunged at us in the middle of the road and like pushed us into the middle of the road, and we had a lot of people that would just scream abuse and just would just be shouting stuff in general. So yeah, that's why I didn't do too much walking and talking like in New York, just because I was a bit on edge. But other than that, I did feel kind of safe. I think the one thing is that because I've never been to America before, it was that kind of that feeling like you don't know who, you know, someone could be next to you and they could have like a GUN like on them and you don't know. But yeah, I mean, I did feel for the most part safe. I think it is just like with anywhere, you just got to have your wits about you. But yeah, I'm really glad I went, and I don't want to end this on a negative note. Like, it was so nice, and it was like that awe moment, like especially when you've watched so many films and like TV programs of New York, and to actually have been there and like saw it in person, like it was so good. So I'm really glad I went. I just wanted to give you like a full overround of like everything. We flew with Aer Lingus as well, and I would recommend flying with them as well. On the way there, the staff were very rude. But on the way back, they were lovely. And the seats were really comfortable. Like, both times I didn't move out of my seat for like the whole like 8 hours or whatever. And it was fine. Like, the seats were so comfortable. So yeah, I definitely recommend flying with them. We weren't delayed at all, either way. And yeah, I think that is everything I have to say. So that is it for obviously the New York vlogs. I do go on another trip in July, but it's just to Amsterdam and Rotterdam. But that's for my sister's wedding, so I'm going to be with all my family, so I might not vlog that. But obviously we do have Bali in September, so I will vlog that, of course. But in the meantime, obviously I am going to keep uploading my normal main channel videos, which is more like fashion content. And obviously if me and Josh do anything worth vlogging, I will vlog it then. And yeah, if there's anything you'd like to know, if you have any questions, then just leave them in the comment box and I will respond to them. But yeah, if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe and turn the bell notification on so you don't miss anything. And I will see you in my next one. Bye!